What if I told you that most men are looking for testosterone in all the wrong places? Most men believe testosterone is built in the gym. But what if your body builds it while you sleep? That's right. While you're resting, your body is working, rebuilding, repairing, and most importantly for us men over 60, producing testosterone. At least that's what should be happening. Look around. How many men do you know who are struggling with low energy, poor sleep quality, a lack of drive that used to define them? These aren't just signs of aging. They're signs of hormonal decline that doesn't have to happen. Here's the twist that most doctors won't tell you. If you get your evening routine wrong, you're actually telling your body to shut down testosterone production, not boost it. I see this all the time. Men investing hundreds in supplements, pushing themselves through grueling workouts, trying every new testosterone booster on the market. Yet they're missing the fundamental foundation. What happens in those critical hours before sleep? Think about it. You work hard all day. You might even exercise. You're doing everything right. Or so you think. But then those few hours before bed, they could be silently undoing everything else you're trying to accomplish. The research is clear. Men over 60 who optimize their evening routine can experience up to a 50% improvement in their testosterone levels within weeks, without a single pill or injection. Yet most men focus on everything except this crucial window of time. In this video, I'm going to share a simple evening ritual that can help boost your testosterone overnight. No pills, no injections. Just working with your body's natural biology to recover what time has taken. A ritual that has helped thousands of men just like you reclaim their energy, vitality, and masculine edge after 60. Comment below, how's your sleep been lately? Do you feel rested or restless? Let me know, because your answer reveals more than you might think about your current testosterone production. Introduction. Why evening matters. Let's talk about why your evening routine matters so much for testosterone production. Most men don't realize that up to 70% of daily testosterone production happens during deep sleep. That's not a small amount. It's the majority of your masculine fuel being created while you rest. But it can only happen when your body is truly in recovery mode. Here's what needs to happen. Your cortisol, that's your stress hormone, needs to drop in the evening. When cortisol falls, your body can shift into parasympathetic mode, the rest and digest state where recovery and hormone production take priority. If cortisol stays elevated at night, which happens with stress, screen time, and poor sleep habits, your body literally cannot produce optimal testosterone. The biology just doesn't work that way. This is why your night determines not just your next day, but potentially your next decade of vitality. Think about the difference between waking up exhausted versus waking up refreshed. The first scenario means your testosterone production was likely compromised. The second means your body did what it was designed to do, repair and rebuild. Let me put this in perspective with some numbers that might surprise you. Research from the University of Chicago Medical Center found that men who slept only 5 hours a night for 1 week had testosterone levels 10 to 15% lower than when they were fully rested. That's equivalent to aging 10-15 years overnight. And for men over 60 who are already experiencing natural decline, this effect can be even more pronounced. What's more, this isn't just about feeling tired. Lower testosterone affects virtually every system in your body, from muscle maintenance to cognitive function, from fat distribution to sexual performance. What most testosterone supplements and even some doctors miss is this fundamental rhythm. You can take all the supplements in the world, but if your sleep cycle is disrupted, you're fighting an uphill battle. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. I worked with a client named Robert, 67, who was spending nearly $200 a month on various testosterone supplements. Despite this investment, he felt no improvement. When we examined his evening routine, we discovered he was watching intense news programming until midnight, then tossing and turning for hours. Within 2 weeks of implementing the ritual I'm about to share, he noticed more morning energy than he'd had in a decade, without changing a single supplement. Your evening routine is the gateway to hormonal recovery. It's the setup for everything else. It's the foundation that makes all other testosterone-boosting efforts actually work. Let me share the 4-step evening ritual that can transform how your body produces testosterone while you sleep, and ultimately, how you feel when you wake up. The ritual. 4-step evening. System to boost testosterone. This isn't complicated, but it is powerful. I've seen men transform their energy, drive, and even physical appearance within weeks of implementing this system consistently. It's about alignment with your body's natural processes, not fighting against them. Step 1. Take a light evening walk, 15 to 20 minutes. The first part of our testosterone-boosting evening ritual is remarkably simple. Take a light walk for 15 to 20 minutes after dinner, ideally as the day is winding down. Why does this work biologically? Several powerful reasons. First, an evening walk stimulates circulation throughout your entire body. Better circulation means more efficient delivery of nutrients to your cells, including your testosterone-producing Leydig cells in the testes. Second, this light activity helps lower cortisol in a natural, gentle way. Unlike intense evening exercise, which can spike cortisol and keep you wired, a casual walk has the opposite effect. It helps transition your nervous system toward that parasympathetic state I mentioned. Third, and this is fascinating, walking during the evening hours, especially as natural light is dimming, helps regulate your melatonin production. Melatonin isn't just for sleep. It's also a powerful antioxidant that protects your testosterone-producing cells from oxidative damage. The beauty of this step is its dual action. It reduces the testosterone-suppressing hormone cortisol while simultaneously protecting your testosterone-producing cells. It's setting the stage for everything that follows. Here's how to do it right. Keep the pace conversational. You should be able to talk without getting winded. Ideally, walk outdoors where you can be exposed to the natural light transition from day to evening. This natural light exposure helps regulate your circadian rhythm, which directly impacts your testosterone production cycle. If weather doesn't permit outdoor walking, even walking around your home or in a mall will provide benefits. The key is movement and timing, gentle activity as the day winds down. What to avoid? Don't turn this into a power walk or workout. Save intensity for earlier in the day. High-intensity exercise less than 3 hours before bed can actually interfere with sleep quality by elevating core body temperature and stress hormones. Try not to bring your phone or any stress-inducing thoughts. This is recovery time, not planning time. If you must bring your phone for safety reasons, put it on Do Not Disturb mode. Jim, a 72-year-old former executive I worked with, implemented just this single habit for 2 weeks. He reported that his sleep monitor showed his deep sleep increased by 18%, and morning wakefulness significantly improved. I used to think evening was for sitting, he told me. Now I realize it's for resetting. Many men report that this simple habit alone improves their sleep quality dramatically. Better sleep equals better testosterone production. It's that direct. Step 2. Avoid screens. 1 hour before bed. The second step in our evening ritual addresses one of the biggest testosterone killers of modern life, nighttime screen exposure. The science is clear on this one. The blue light emitted from phones, tablets, computers, and televisions directly suppresses melatonin production. Remember, melatonin not only helps you sleep but protects your testosterone-producing cells. But it gets worse. Screen time before bed keeps your brain in alert mode when it should be winding down. This alertness triggers cortisol release at precisely the time when cortisol should be at its lowest. And as we've established, elevated nighttime cortisol directly interferes with testosterone production. A 2017 study published in Chronobiology International found that men exposed to blue light in the evening had significantly reduced testosterone levels the following day compared to those who avoided it. The effect was even more pronounced in men over 50. What's happening is that your brain interprets blue light as daylight, signaling your pineal gland to halt melatonin secretion. For our ancestors, this made perfect sense. Daylight meant time for activity and vigilance, not rest and recovery. But in our modern world, artificial blue light tricks our ancient biology into a hormonal pattern that sabotages testosterone. How to implement this? Create a technology boundary 1 hour before your planned bedtime. Turn off the TV, put down the phone, close the laptop. If you need to check something, do it before this cutoff. If you absolutely must use screens, for example, if you enjoy reading on an e-reader, use blue light-blocking glasses. These specialized glasses filter out the most harmful wavelengths. While not as effective as avoiding screens entirely, studies show they can reduce melatonin suppression by up to 60%. Consider setting up automatic reminders or using apps that gradually warm your screen color as evening approaches. On iPhones, this is called night shift. On Android, it's night light. On computers, you can use F-Lux or similar programs that automatically adjust your display. What to replace screen time with? Try reading a physical book under warm light, having a meaningful conversation with your partner, listening to calm music, light stretching, or meditation. These activities signal to your body that it's time to transition to rest. For maximum benefit, dim household lights during this hour as well. Lower lighting levels further support your body's natural melatonin production cycle. What to avoid? Besides the obvious screens, also avoid checking work emails, news, or social media right before this cutoff. The emotional activation from these activities can linger even after you've put down your devices. Studies show that emotional arousal from content can keep stress hormones elevated for up to 45 minutes. I worked with a retired engineer named Michael who struggled with insomnia for years. His nightly routine included watching the 11 o'clock news followed by checking his investments online. When he implemented the screen curfew, replacing those activities with reading historical fiction, his sleep onset time decreased from over an hour to less than 15 minutes within just a few days. I know this step can be challenging in today's connected world, but it's absolutely essential for hormonal recovery. The men who commit to this screen-free hour consistently report the most dramatic improvements in sleep quality and morning energy. If you're enjoying this so far, give this video a like. It helps us reach more men like you who could benefit from these natural testosterone-boosting strategies. Step 3. Consume a magnesium-rich drink or supplement. The third step in our evening testosterone-boosting ritual involves magnesium, arguably the most important mineral for men over 60. Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in your body, including those that regulate sleep and testosterone production. Studies have shown that magnesium supplementation can increase free and total testosterone levels, particularly in older men and men who exercise. But here's what's concerning. Up to 75% of Americans are deficient in magnesium, and the deficiency gets worse as we age. A study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism demonstrated that after age 60, intestinal absorption of magnesium decreases significantly, while urinary excretion typically increases. The connection between magnesium and testosterone is so strong that researchers at the University of Palermo found that men with higher magnesium levels had significantly higher testosterone levels, regardless of age. They concluded that magnesium optimization could potentially offset a portion of age-related testosterone decline. Why magnesium works? First, it helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode. Second, it helps regulate cortisol. Third, it supports deep, restorative sleep by maintaining healthy levels of GABA, a neurotransmitter that promotes relaxation. Finally, magnesium is directly involved in the biochemical reactions that produce testosterone. Magnesium also improves insulin sensitivity, which is crucial because insulin resistance, common in men over 60, is associated with lower testosterone levels. By improving how your cells respond to insulin, magnesium creates a more favorable metabolic environment for testosterone production. How to implement this? About an hour before bed, consume a magnesium-rich drink or supplement. If using a supplement, Magnesium glycinate is the most absorbable form and doesn't have the laxative effect that some other forms can have. A typical effective dose is 200 to 400 milliliters. For men with joint discomfort or muscle tightness, magnesium threonate is another excellent option, as it has superior ability to cross the blood-brain barrier and may provide additional cognitive benefits. If you prefer getting magnesium from food, focus on incorporating foods like spinach, pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate, or almonds earlier in your evening meal. A quarter cup of pumpkin seeds, for example, contains nearly 50% of your daily magnesium needs. Some men prefer a warm magnesium-rich drink before bed. A cup of unsweetened almond milk with a teaspoon of pure cocoa powder, rich in magnesium, can be both satisfying and you can sweeten it with a small amount of stevia if needed, without disrupting your insulin levels. What to avoid? Steer clear of sugary beverages or heavy snacks before bed. Sugar causes insulin spikes that can interfere with growth hormone release during sleep, which in turn affects testosterone production. Also, avoid magnesium oxide supplements, which are poorly absorbed. Often less than 5% is actually utilized by your body. Also, avoid taking magnesium with calcium supplements at the same time. They compete for absorption, and calcium tends to win that competition. If you take both, separate them by at least 2 hours. One of our community members, Frank, a 68-year-old former athlete, struggled with nighttime leg cramps that would wake him multiple times per night, devastating his sleep quality. Within 3 nights of implementing this magnesium protocol, his cramps disappeared completely, and he began experiencing morning vitality he hadn't felt in years. Step 4. Establish a same-time sleep routine. The final step in our evening ritual is perhaps the most powerful but often the most overlooked: consistency in your sleep schedule. Going to bed and waking up at approximately the same time every day, yes, even on weekends, helps regulate your circadian rhythm, which directly controls your hormonal cycles, including testosterone production. Why this works biologically: your body thrives on predictability. When you maintain a consistent sleep schedule, your brain begins preparing for sleep well before bedtime by initiating a cascade of hormonal changes. Melatonin begins to rise, cortisol decreases, and your body temperature drops slightly, all creating optimal conditions for testosterone production during sleep. Research has shown that men with irregular sleep schedules have significantly lower testosterone levels than those with regular patterns, even if both groups get the same total amount of sleep. Consistency is more important than total hours, though ideally you want 7 to 8 quality hours. A landmark study from the Journal of Sleep Research found that volunteers whose bedtimes varied by more than 30 minutes from night to night had measurably lower testosterone levels than those who maintained consistent schedules. The researchers concluded that sleep timing consistency was actually more predictive of optimal testosterone levels than sleep duration. Think of your body's hormonal system like a finely tuned orchestra. When the conductor, your circadian rhythm, maintains a consistent tempo, every instrument plays in harmony. When the tempo becomes unpredictable, the music, or in this case, your hormonal balance, suffers. How to implement this? Decide on a realistic bedtime and wake-up time that allows for 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Set an alarm for 30 minutes before your bedtime as a reminder to begin winding down. Use the same wake-up time every day, even on weekends or days off. For maximum effectiveness, anchor your sleep schedule to natural light patterns when possible. Going to bed between 9:11 p.m. and waking with or before sunrise tends to work best for most men's hormonal patterns. Create a brief bedtime routine that signals to your body it's time for sleep. This might include dimming lights, a brief stretching routine, reading a few pages of a book, or a moment of gratitude reflection. The specific activities matter less than the consistency. Your body learns to recognize these cues as signals that testosterone-producing sleep is imminent. Optimize your bedroom environment as well. Keep the room cool, 65 to 68 degrees is ideal, completely dark and quiet. Consider blackout curtains, white noise machines, or earplugs if environmental factors interfere with your sleep quality. What to avoid? Resist the temptation to stay up late on weekends or catch up on sleep by sleeping in. These patterns disrupt your circadian rhythm and, consequently, your testosterone production cycle. Research from the University of Chicago showed that just 2 days of altered sleep timing was enough to decrease testosterone production by up to 15% in healthy men. Also, avoid using alcohol as a sleep aid, as it severely disrupts sleep architecture, even though it might help you fall asleep. While a nightcap might make you drowsy, alcohol reduces REM sleep and causes more nighttime awakenings, both of which compromise testosterone production. Similarly, avoid late evening eating, particularly large or high-carbohydrate meals. Digestion raises core body temperature and triggers insulin release, both of which can interfere with quality sleep and, by extension, testosterone production. One of my clients, a 65-year-old retired pilot named Thomas, had spent decades with irregular sleep schedules due to his profession. When he finally established a consistent pattern, 10:30 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. daily, he experienced such profound improvements in his energy and vitality that he called it life-changing. Within weeks, his morning energy was consistently strong, and his need for afternoon naps disappeared entirely. Remember, your body craves rhythms. Honor that need, and it will reward you with optimized testosterone production. What this ritual does inside your body. Now that you understand the ritual, let's talk about what's actually happening inside your body when you implement it consistently. When you follow this evening routine, you're creating the optimal internal environment for testosterone production. Let me walk you through the biology. First, the evening walk and screen avoidance help lower cortisol at the right time. As cortisol drops, your pituitary gland gets the signal that it's safe to release luteinizing hormone, or LH. This is critical because LH is what tells your testes to produce testosterone. The relationship between cortisol and testosterone is antagonistic. They compete for the same precursor molecules, and when cortisol is elevated, testosterone production is automatically suppressed. By lowering cortisol through our evening ritual, you're essentially removing the roadblock that's been preventing optimal testosterone synthesis. During REM sleep, which occurs more frequently during the early morning hours, LH pulses increase significantly. But here's the key. These pulses only happen properly when you reach deep quality sleep cycles. The magnesium and consistent sleep schedule help ensure you achieve these cycles. Let me put this in perspective. A study from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that men who experienced fragmented sleep had up to 60% fewer of these LH pulses compared to men with continuous quality sleep. Fewer pulses mean less testosterone production. It's that direct. With proper LH signaling, your hypothalamic pituitary testicular axis, or HPT axis, becomes more responsive. Think of this as the command center for your testosterone production. When it's working properly, testosterone production is efficient and abundant. Many men don't realize that this HPT axis is highly sensitive to sleep quality. It's not just about how many hours you sleep, but how effectively your body cycles through the sleep stages. When your sleep architecture is optimized through our ritual, your HPT axis can function as it did decades ago. The lowered stress response and improved sleep quality also reduce nighttime cortisol, which directly suppresses testosterone. Many men don't realize that elevated cortisol literally competes with testosterone, using the same building blocks that could otherwise become your masculine hormone. Another fascinating benefit occurs with improved circulation from your evening walk. Better blood flow supports nitric oxide production, which is essential not just for sexual function, but also for delivering nutrients to your testosterone-producing cells and clearing metabolic waste that can impair hormone production. During deep sleep phases, your body also produces growth hormone, which works synergistically with testosterone to maintain muscle mass, reduce fat accumulation, and support overall vitality. This happens optimally only when sleep cycles are uninterrupted and complete. A study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that men who slept less than 5 hours a night for just 1 week showed a staggering 10 to 15% reduction in testosterone levels. Another study from the University of Chicago demonstrated that fragmented sleep, even if total hours remained adequate, led to similar testosterone declines. What's happening is a comprehensive reset of your hormonal environment, creating the perfect conditions for your body to do what it naturally wants to do, produce optimal testosterone levels for a man of your age. It realized that elevated cortisol literally competes with testosterone, using the same building blocks that could otherwise become your masculine hormone. Another fascinating benefit occurs with improved circulation from your evening walk. Better blood flow supports nitric oxide production, which is essential not just for sexual function, but also for delivering nutrients to your testosterone-producing cells and clearing metabolic waste that can impair hormone production. Nitric oxide is particularly important for men over 60 because its production naturally decreases with age. By boosting it through evening walks, you're providing vital support to your entire hormonal system. During deep sleep phases, your body also produces growth hormone, which works synergistically with testosterone to maintain muscle mass, reduce fat accumulation, and support overall vitality. This happens optimally only when sleep cycles are uninterrupted and complete. The magnesium supplement further supports this process by activating enzymes involved in protein synthesis and energy production within your Leydig cells, the testosterone factories within your testes. Research published in Biological Trace Element Research demonstrated that magnesium supplementation increased free and total testosterone values in both sedentary men and athletes. A study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that men who slept less than 5 hours a night for just 1 week showed a staggering 10–15% reduction in testosterone levels. Another study from the University of Chicago demonstrated that fragmented sleep, even if total hours remained adequate, led to similar testosterone declines. What's most remarkable about this system is how quickly it can begin to work. While full hormonal optimization takes time, many men report noticeable improvements in morning energy and drive within just 3 to 5 days of implementing this ritual consistently. What's happening is a comprehensive reset of your hormonal environment, creating the perfect conditions for your body to do what it naturally wants to do, produce optimal testosterone levels for a man of your age. It realized that elevated cortisol literally competes with testosterone, using the same building blocks that could otherwise become your masculine hormone. Another fascinating benefit occurs with improved circulation from your evening walk. Better blood flow supports nitric oxide production, which is essential not just for sexual function, but also for delivering nutrients to your testosterone-producing cells and clearing metabolic waste that can impair hormone production. During deep sleep phases, your body also produces growth hormone, which works synergistically with testosterone to maintain muscle mass, reduce fat accumulation, and support overall vitality. This happens optimally only when sleep cycles are uninterrupted and complete. A study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that men who slept less than 5 hours a night for just 1 week showed a staggering 10 to 15% reduction in testosterone levels. Another study from the University of Chicago demonstrated that fragmented sleep, even if total hours remained adequate, led to similar testosterone declines. What's happening is a comprehensive reset of your hormonal environment, creating the perfect conditions for your body to do what it naturally wants to do. Produce optimal testosterone levels for a man of your age. Signs: your current night routine is hurting you. Let's take a moment to identify if your current evening habits might be sabotaging your testosterone production. Any of these signs should be a wake-up call that change is needed. The first and most obvious sign is trouble falling asleep. If your mind is racing when your head hits the pillow, or you find yourself tossing and turning for more than 15–20 minutes before falling asleep, Your evening routine isn't properly preparing your body for rest and recovery. This sleep onset difficulty is directly related to cortisol regulation. When cortisol remains elevated at bedtime, your brain stays in an alertness mode that actively blocks the transition to sleep. For many men, this difficulty falling asleep is the canary in the coal mine, the first warning sign of hormonal disruption. Waking up tired even after what seems like adequate sleep is another clear warning. Testosterone is revitalizing. When it's produced properly overnight, you should wake up with a sense of energy and readiness for the day. If you're dragging yourself out of bed, something's off. That morning, grogginess isn't just inconvenient. It's telling you that your deep sleep phases were likely compromised. Since most testosterone is produced during these deep sleep periods, morning fatigue strongly suggests suboptimal testosterone production occurred overnight. Pay attention to stubborn belly fat that won't go away despite diet changes or exercise. Abdominal fat is not just an aesthetic concern. It's metabolically active tissue that converts testosterone to estrogen through a process called aromatization. Low testosterone and high cortisol both contribute to this pattern of fat storage. This creates a dangerous cycle. Poor sleep reduces testosterone, which increases belly fat, which further reduces testosterone by converting it to estrogen. Breaking this cycle requires addressing the root cause, your sleep quality and evening routine. A lack of morning drive, both generally and sexually, is telling. Healthy testosterone production should give you a natural sense of motivation and libido upon waking. Its absence suggests compromised overnight hormone production. For men over 60, morning arousal isn't just about sexual function, it's a reliable biological marker of testosterone status. Poor sexual performance, particularly difficulty maintaining erections, can be directly related to suboptimal testosterone levels and poor nitric oxide production, both of which are heavily influenced by sleep quality. Research published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine found that men with obstructive sleep apnea, a condition that severely disrupts sleep architecture, had significantly higher rates of erectile dysfunction, and that improving sleep quality improved sexual function in 40–70% of cases. Daytime grogginess, brain fog, or irritability are also warning signs. These cognitive and emotional symptoms often reflect the neurological impact of hormonal imbalances stemming from poor sleep. Testosterone doesn't just affect your body, it affects your brain's function as well. Low levels can impair cognitive clarity, emotional regulation, and motivation. Increasing reliance on caffeine throughout the day suggests your body's natural energy regulation, which depends heavily on proper hormone production, is compromised. If you find yourself needing multiple coffees just to function, your evening routine likely needs attention. From a habit perspective, if you find yourself frequently using screens right up until bedtime, or if your bedtime varies widely from night to night, you're directly interfering with the biological processes that support testosterone production. The impact of these disruptions is cumulative. Occasional disruptions won't significantly impact your overall hormonal health. But consistent patterns of poor sleep hygiene create a chronic state of suboptimal testosterone production that can dramatically affect your quality of life over time. The good news? All of these signs can begin to improve within days of implementing the evening ritual we've discussed. Your body wants to heal and balance itself. It just needs the right conditions.
The 30-Day Reset Challenge. Now that you understand the science and the ritual, I want to invite you to join our 30-Day Testosterone Reset Challenge. Here's what it involves. Commit to following the complete 4-step evening ritual we've discussed for 30 consecutive nights, not just the parts that seem easy or convenient, but the entire system. Why 30 days? Because this gives your body enough time to reset hormonal patterns and for you to experience meaningful changes.
Some men notice improvements within days, but true hormonal rebalancing takes a few weeks of consistency. There's solid science behind this time frame. Research from the Journal of Applied Physiology shows that it takes approximately 28–30 days to establish new neuroendocrine patterns. essentially rewiring your hormonal system's default settings. By committing to a full month, you're giving your body time to fully adapt to this new, optimized pattern of testosterone production. During these 30 days, I want you to track 3 specific things: your sleep quality, your morning energy levels, and your overall sense of drive and motivation. You can use a simple 1 to 10 scale for each, noting it quickly each morning. For sleep quality, assess how rested you feel upon waking. For morning energy, rate your physical and mental vigor during the first hour after rising. For drive and motivation, evaluate your enthusiasm and forward momentum for the day's activities. Tracking these metrics will make subtle improvements visible and motivating. I recommend creating a simple tracking system, whether in a notebook by your bed or in the Notes app on your phone. The act of recording these metrics makes you more aware of improvements and helps cement your commitment to the process. Consider taking before pictures at the start of the challenge. Pay particular attention to abdominal fat distribution, face fullness, and overall posture. These visual markers often show surprising changes as your hormonal environment improves. Many men are shocked when they compare day 1 to day 30 photos. The beauty of this challenge is its simplicity. You don't need any special equipment, expensive supplements, or medical interventions. Everything in this ritual can be implemented tonight using what you already have available to you. Some men find it helpful to have an accountability partner, another man following the same protocol with whom you can check in regularly. The Vital Core 60 Community Forum is full of men supporting each other through this process. Sometimes sharing your journey makes all the difference in maintaining consistency. Remember that consistency, not perfection, is the goal. If you miss a night or can't fully implement all steps, simply return to the ritual the next evening. Don't let one disruption derail your entire reset. James, a 71-year-old community member, started the challenge with significant skepticism. "At my age, I thought low energy was just inevitable," he told me. By day 14, he reported waking up before his alarm for the first time in years. By day 30, his wife commented that he seemed like a different man, more engaged, energetic, and positive. I encourage you to comment on this video with your progress as you go through the challenge. Share what you're experiencing, ask questions, connect with other men on the same journey. Your insights might be exactly what another man needs to hear. The most common feedback we receive about this 30-day challenge isn't just about hormonal improvements. It's about the sense of control it gives men over their own health trajectory. Rather than feeling at the mercy of aging, men report feeling empowered, like they've reclaimed the driver's seat of their own vitality. Subscribe now if you want more natural, science-backed strategies to boost your vitality after 60. We release new content every week designed specifically for men in our season of life who want to reclaim their strength and vitality. Conclusion. Final message. As we wrap up today, I want to leave you with a perspective shift that might change how you view your evening hours. Your bedtime isn't just the end of your day, it's the beginning of your body's most important restorative work. It's not a passive moment. It's an active transition into the time when your masculine vitality rebuilds itself. You've led all day. You've made decisions, solved problems, showed up for the people who matter to you. Now it's time to rebuild. The truth is, you don't need pills. You don't need testosterone gels or injections, at least not before you've optimized your body's natural hormone production first. What you need is alignment with your biology, and your body is still listening and responding regardless of your age. This truth runs counter to what much of modern medicine suggests, that declining testosterone is simply an inevitable reality of aging that can only be addressed with pharmaceutical intervention. While there's certainly a place for medical treatments, the foundation of hormonal health begins with the natural rhythms and routines we've discussed today. Consider this. Studies of men in traditional societies show significantly less age-related testosterone decline compared to men in industrialized nations. The difference? Traditional lifestyles maintain natural patterns of light exposure, physical activity, and sleep regularity, exactly the principles our evening ritual helps restore. A fascinating study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism compared testosterone levels in modern urbanized men versus those in traditional hunter-gatherer communities. They found that 70-year-old men in traditional communities often maintain testosterone levels comparable to 50-year-olds in modern society. The researchers concluded that lifestyle factors, particularly sleep patterns and light exposure, were the primary differentiators. Imagine waking up with strength, drive, and clarity every morning just from what you did the night before. That kind of consistent energy and vitality isn't just about feeling good. It's about being fully present for this chapter of your life with the power to engage fully. Think about what that would mean. Having the energy to play with grandchildren without exhaustion. Pursuing new interests or hobbies with enthusiasm. Maintaining the physical capacity for travel and adventure. Sustaining intimacy and connection in your most important relationships. These aren't luxuries. They're the essence of a life well lived in our later years. I've seen men in their 70s and even 80s reclaim levels of energy and drive they hadn't experienced in decades simply by honoring this nighttime ritual consistently. The body has an extraordinary capacity to restore balance when given the right conditions. One of our community members, Richard, a 78-year-old retired teacher, implemented this ritual after years of increasing fatigue and disengagement. I had resigned myself to watching life from the sidelines, he told me. 3 weeks into the ritual, he registered for a local hiking club. 6 months later, he was leading hikes and planning an overseas walking tour. I didn't need a miracle, he said. I just needed to work with my body instead of against it. This evening ritual isn't just about testosterone. It's about reclaiming control of your health trajectory. It's about working with your body instead of against it. It's about sustainability rather than quick fixes. You've spent decades building your life. Now it's time to build the vitality that lets you fully enjoy what you've created. This evening ritual is your foundation. Start tonight, not next week or when things calm down. Tonight. Your body will respond and faster than you might think. And if this video brought you value, click the thanks button to support this channel and help us reach more men reclaiming their strength. Together, we're changing what it means to be a man over 60. Remember, what you do in the evening determines who you are in the morning. Choose well. Good night and good testosterone.